If you've carried out a market assessment, decided on a suitable breed based on your findings, constructed your coop to meet the needs of that breed, and budgeted thoroughly, having everything ready, then congratulations, you're well on your way. It's now time to bring in your first flock of day-old chicks. But let me tell you, it's not just a matter of buying them and dumping them in the coop. There are crucial steps and precautions you must take to ensure low or no mortality rates and ultimately raise healthy, productive birds. In this video, I'm going to take you through exactly what to do, how to do it step by step, starting with preparations before the chicks arrive, transportation tips, what to do on arrival and after, and the essential daily activities you should know to keep your flock thriving. So stay tuned to the very end. This is part 3 of our complete guide to starting a poultry farm as a side hustle for beginners, starting from scratch. If you missed parts 1 and 2, don't worry. I'll leave the links in the description below. I highly encourage you to go back and watch those videos to get the full picture. Now let's get right in. Before you bring in your first flock of day-old chicks, it's absolutely critical to ensure that your brooder is fully prepared. Think of the brooder as their first home, where they'll grow and develop during the most delicate weeks of their lives. A well-prepared brooder can significantly impact their health and survival. So today, let me take you through the process of getting your brooder ready before your chicks arrive. The first thing you'll want to do is cleaning the brooder thoroughly. If you've used it before, make sure to remove all the leftover bedding, dirt, and waste. Even if the brooder is brand new, it's important to clear out any dust or debris that might have accumulated. Using a mild detergent, water, and a scrubbing brush, wash every surface inside the brooder. This includes the walls, floors, and any equipment like feeders and drinkers that you plan to use. Once you've finished washing, rinse everything thoroughly and let it dry completely. Remember, moisture can create the perfect environment for bacteria and mold to thrive, so ensure that every corner is completely dry before moving forward. Now that your brooder is clean, the next step is disinfection. This is crucial for eliminating any harmful organisms that might pose a risk to your chicks. Choose a high-quality poultry disinfectant, something effective against bacteria, viruses, and fungi. You can use products like Verconess, formalin, or any other poultry-specific disinfectant available in your area. Apply the disinfectant by spraying or wiping it onto all surfaces, including the walls, floors, and equipment. Once it's dry, repeat the process a second time. This double round of disinfection ensures that you've left no room for pathogens to survive. With the brooder clean and disinfected, it's time to focus on bedding. Bedding serves several purposes. It keeps the floor warm, absorbs moisture, and provides a soft and comfortable surface for your chicks. You have a few options when it comes to bedding materials. Wood shavings are a popular choice because they're soft and highly absorbent, but make sure to avoid fine sawdust as it can cause respiratory problems. Straw is another option, but you'll want to chop it into smaller pieces to make it easier for the chicks to manage. Rice husks work well too if they're available in your area. They're cost-effective and absorbent. Shredded paper is also a good alternative, especially if you have access to recycled materials. But it's important that the paper is clean and free of toxic ink or chemicals. Whatever material you choose, the bedding must be clean and completely dry to avoid introducing mold or bacteria into the brooder. Even with clean bedding, it's a good idea to disinfect it as an added precaution. You can lightly spray it with a diluted poultry-safe disinfectant solution, or, if possible, sterilize it using heat. Once the bedding is disinfected, give it enough time to air dry completely before spreading it evenly across the brooder floor. To take things a step further, cover the bedding with brooder paper. This extra layer not only helps keep the environment cleaner, but also prevents the chicks from pecking directly at the bedding during their first few days. Brooder paper is specifically designed for this purpose, and it can also help chicks find their feed more easily. If brooder paper isn't available, you can use alternatives like newspaper or brown wrapping paper or even cardbox. Just make sure that whatever you use is smooth and non-slippery. Avoid glossy or printed paper, as the ink can be harmful to your chicks. By following these steps, cleaning, disinfecting, bedding, and covering, you're setting up a safe, healthy, and comfortable environment for your day-old chicks to thrive in. Once everything is in place, take a moment to double-check your setup. Ensure there are no drafts, the temperature is correctly set if you've installed a heat source, and everything looks ready. With your brooder properly prepared, you're giving your chicks the best possible start in life, and that's the foundation for a successful poultry farming venture. Next, transporting day-old chicks from the hatchery or pickup station to your farm is a crucial step that requires careful planning and execution to ensure their safety and health. These chicks are fragile, and any mistakes during this process can lead to stress, injuries, or even losses. Whether you're using a vehicle or a motorcycle, the key is to prioritize their comfort and minimize risks. Here's how to do it right. Start by planning your transportation. Confirm the collection time with the hatchery to ensure you're ready when the chicks are. If possible, schedule the trip during the cooler parts of the day to avoid exposing the chicks to extreme heat. For those with a vehicle, make sure it's clean and well ventilated. If you're using a motorcycle, it's even more important to account for the weather. Use a shaded carrier or box to protect the chicks from direct sunlight, wind, or rain while ensuring good airflow. When collecting the chicks, handle the boxes gently. Chicks are usually packed in well-ventilated transport boxes, which are lightweight and designed to prevent overcrowding. Inspect these boxes for any damage or blocked ventilation before loading them. If you're on a motorcycle, secure the boxes firmly to avoid sudden jerking or tipping during the ride. Keep the boxes level and avoid stacking them to prevent heat buildup and crushing. Whether you're transporting chicks by vehicle or motorcycle, the principles remain the same. Ensure proper ventilation, maintain a stable temperature, and handle the chicks with care. If you are gaining something from this video, please hit the like button and stay hooked. When the chicks arrive at the farm, handle them gently and avoid tipping or dumping them into the brooder. Carefully open the transport boxes and allow the chicks to walk out on their own onto the brooder paper. This reduces their stress and ensures a smooth transition into their new environment. At this stage, don't rush to feed them immediately. Their digestive systems are still adjusting after the journey, and the priority is to rehydrate them. For the first 2 hours, only provide clean, fresh water. Adding vitamins, electrolytes, or glucose to the water can help boost their energy and hydration levels after the stress of transportation. Place the waterers in an easily accessible area and make sure there's enough for all the chicks to drink without crowding or spilling. Observe them closely. Healthy chicks will start drinking right away. If any chick seems sluggish or disoriented, gently dip its beak into the water to encourage it to drink. After 2 hours of hydration, it's time to introduce feed. Spread a small amount of feed directly on the brooder paper. This encourages the chicks to peck and eat, which is a natural instinct. At the same time, place feed in the chick feeders along the sides of the brooder. This dual feeding approach ensures all the chicks, including the weaker or more hesitant ones, have access to food. Use a high-quality starter feed specifically formulated for chicks, as it contains the essential nutrients they need for strong growth and immunity. As the chicks begin exploring their new environment, pay attention to their behavior. If they're huddling together under the heat source, they may be too cold, and you should slightly increase the temperature. If they're scattered far away from the heat, they may be too hot, so reduce the heat a bit. Ideally, they should be spread out evenly across the brooder, eating, drinking, and chirping softly, a clear sign that they're comfortable. Throughout the first day, check the waterers and feeders frequently to ensure they're clean and not empty. Chicks can be messy, so you might need to refill or clean them more often than you expect. Maintain a calm and quiet environment around the brooder to minimize stress, as loud noises or sudden movements can frighten the chicks. During the first 3 weeks of brooding, it's crucial to provide your chicks with 24-hour lighting. This constant light ensures the chicks can find their feed and water at all times, which is especially important during these early days when they are still learning and adjusting to their new environment. Chicks have small energy reserves, so they need to eat and drink frequently to stay warm, hydrated, and healthy. Without continuous lighting, they may miss essential meals or water breaks, leading to weakness or uneven growth. After the 3rd week, it's time to start reducing the light hours gradually. Begin by cutting the lighting period by 2 hours daily until you reach a normal daylight schedule. This gradual adjustment helps the chicks transition smoothly to natural light cycles, preparing them for adulthood. It also encourages a natural rest and activity rhythm, which is important for their long-term growth and productivity. Reducing light too quickly or abruptly can stress the birds, so the gradual reduction ensures they adapt comfortably without disrupting their feeding and growth patterns. On the 2nd day of brooding, your chicks are starting to adapt to their new environment. While you'll still be closely observing them, this is the day to stop putting feed directly on the brooder paper. By now, most of the chicks have learned to eat from the feeders, which is their long-term feeding habit. Remove any leftover feed from the brooder paper to keep the environment clean and prevent waste. Leaving feed on the paper can lead to contamination and encourage bacteria growth, so transitioning fully to feeders is essential. Continue monitoring their water supply. Fresh, clean water should always be available, and it's your job to ensure the waterers are neither empty nor dirty. Chicks can be quite messy, often kicking bedding or droppings into the water, so you'll need to clean and refill the waterers at least twice daily. Add vitamins or electrolytes to the water for the first few days to boost their immunity and energy as they adjust. By the 4th day, it's time to remove the brooder paper entirely. At this stage, the chicks have become accustomed to the bedding underneath and no longer need the paper layer. Carefully roll up the brooder paper, being mindful not to scatter any droppings or leftover feed onto the bedding. The removal of the brooder paper allows the chicks to fully interact with the bedding, which will absorb moisture and help maintain a clean environment. However, you'll need to inspect and refresh the bedding regularly to ensure it stays dry and odor-free. Daily temperature checks are another critical task. Chicks are highly sensitive to changes in temperature, so ensure the brooder remains warm but not overly hot. By now, you might notice that they require slightly less heat than on the first day. Gradually reduce the temperature by about 2 to 3 degrees Celsius each week, depending on their behavior. A well-adjusted chick will be active, eating, drinking, and evenly spread across the brooder. If they huddle under the heat source, they're too cold. If they're far from it and panting, they're too hot. Feeding is also a key focus of your daily routine. Ensure the feeders are filled with fresh, high-quality starter feed and clean them regularly to remove any droppings or wet feed. Check that all chicks are eating and growing. You can do this by observing their behavior or randomly picking a few to feel their crop, which should be full but not hard. Address any signs of weak or inactive chicks immediately by isolating them and providing extra care, including warm water with vitamins. Another important task is daily cleaning. Remove any wet or soiled bedding promptly to prevent the growth of bacteria and maintain a healthy environment. Pay special attention to areas around waterers and feeders, as these tend to get dirty more quickly. Keeping the brooder clean not only reduces the risk of disease, but also ensures your chicks remain comfortable and active. Additionally, observation is your most powerful tool. Spend time each day watching your chicks. Look for signs of healthy behavior, chirping softly, moving around actively, eating and drinking. Take note of any unusual behavior such as droopiness, loud distressed chirps, or abnormal droppings. Early detection of issues allows for quick intervention, which can save your chicks and prevent problems from spreading. In summary, every day in the brooder involves a cycle of feeding, watering, cleaning, and observing, with slight adjustments as your chicks grow and become more independent. Removing feed from the brooder paper on the 2nd day and the paper itself on the 4th day are key milestones that mark their progress. By staying consistent, attentive, and proactive, you're giving your chicks the best chance to grow into strong, healthy birds that will serve as the foundation of your poultry farming success. To all aspiring poultry farmers, I wish you the very best as you embark on this exciting path. There's so much more to learn, so stay tuned for the next parts of this series where we'll get deeper into other key aspects of poultry farming. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you won't miss out on future updates. See you in the next video.